in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills today, and then there's some other news that I want to talk to you guys about. But I also want to break down the Rinna photo that was allegedly posted by her Instagram story, and people were going really wild over this photo and the debate of if she posted it or if Patrick took a photo she posted several years or a year back of her and this firearm. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it because I may get demonetized for it. So I'm going to shorten that. But basically, Lisa Rinna took a photo. She had a firearm in it, and Patrick or Lisa basically threatened Patrick without threatening Patrick. Hey, Alan. I hope you guys are ready for some tea. I hope we have a good live today. I know it's the middle of the day, so it's hard for everyone to get there. Alan's ready. You guys should all message where you guys are from so I can shout you out. Alan, I think I did message you over that contact I was talking about from New York, the stylist. Hey, Donna from Maine. Hey, proud Texas lady, Groovy. Hi, Groovy. Um, yes. Did you guys know that there was a baby shower to I think it was over the weekend for Kim Richards' daughter Brooke. Kathy threw her a baby shower. The photos are on Instagram. Not sure if any of you guys saw those yet, but you don't see Kyle in any of the photos at all. You don't see Kim either, which is a little bit strange too. But anyways, let's get started on the Beverly Hills drama and what's going on with Lisa Rinna. So if all of you guys have seen that, if not, I would love to post it in the community part of YouTube, but because of the firearm that she's holding in the photo, I'm scared that they would probably take it down. So I can't post it on YouTube, but you guys can find it on my Instagram, HW Historian, if you want to see the photo. Really quickly, Alan says, I love Kim. I wish she would come back, but I understand for reasons for staying away. And thankfully for Big Kathy, Kim did marry really well. So thankfully, all of her children have wealthy dads and they take care of them. So they don't really have to worry about the financial part of everything, which I feel like is quite a blessing because all of the children have like really rich dads. I think Brooke's she married rich too. I think they like created the In and Out franchise, her husband, and they were recently raided by like the FBI too. But that's another story. Let's get back to Lisa Rinna in this post. So, just a tiny bit of backstory. Patrick is a gentleman who came out and alleged that Kathy Hilton had said, set no, wait. First, Patrick said that Kathy Hilton was paying him, that it was all a setup, right? And if you guys remember the account that exposed Patrick for the very first time, the first time we ever heard Patrick Summers' name, allegedly, was from this account called Your Mom's Watching. It's on Instagram. The woman's name is Thea, and I've corresponded with her a lot over the last couple of years since I started doing the Housewives on Instagram and YouTube, and she's always been super nice, always responds, and she worked a long time like in the showbiz. I think of like New York and Publicist, and she often writes like stories about times when she ran into Julia Roberts or whomever, and she'll post them in her IG stories because I think her true passion is actually writing, and she started to do this as a hobby. But just naturally, the corporate in her, she has over like 11,000 followers, and she corresponds with everyone. She really taught me, how to correspond with Bravo celebrities, because trust me, they want to talk to you. They want to tell you their side of the story. They just have to you have to come at them right. So I believe that she is in correspondence with a lot of different Bravo fans and Bravo celebrities, also because she does it full time. But she was the one that exposed Patrick for saying that Kathy Hilton had paid him, right? To, basically ruin Lisa Rinna's life. So she comes out with that on Instagram. Everyone is like going crazy, right? A couple of days later, he comes out and says the complete opposite. Says, that Lisa Rinna hired him. This has been going on for months and months and months. At one point, people didn't even believe that Patrick Summers was a real person. They had reached out to the show Catfish because they were trying to find him because no one could even find enough information to validate that he was an actual person. Well, we got validation. I've had a lot of stuff sent to me in my DMs. I just choose not to post it because it's pretty personal on him. He looks like he was from a family in Utah. And he's always been, wanted to be in the showbiz, but he doesn't speak to any of his family anymore. But long story short, he is a real person, okay? The last time he posted anything dramatic, hi Debbie from England. He posted something pretty dramatic when he said he was going to be at the reunion. People were going wild over that. And then he also posted that he runs a bots business and that he had been hired to, by Lisa to help her Instagram posts, and he did this whole story on that. And then he showed his phone and showed a map of him, like a GPS route to Lisa's house. But people were saying Lisa's address is super accessible. It's like on all of her businesses. So is her phone number. Remember, Patrick doxed her. So anyways, long story short, now we have, sorry guys, I just wanted to get a moderator in here really quickly. My friend Marsha, she's so sweet. Really, really like her. So I'm going to add her as a moderator really quickly, if you guys don't mind, so that we don't have any issues today, guys. Just when I was getting to the good part, right? Of course. That's not her right here. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me so I can get a moderator on here. Maybe I should try her email. Might be easier to put that in. I'm sorry, I'll keep talking, guys. Anyways, so this picture comes out of Lisa Rinna, and she is holding this firearm. Basically, it's a threat to Patrick, right? This because the only person that I talked to that actually said they had it was Freddie from Reality Diamond. He said that he did see it on Lisa Rinna's story, but he lives overseas, so he's on a way different time zone than we are. But people were saying they swear they saw this photo on Lisa's Instagram. Now, Your Mom's Watching account has basically debunked Patrick. She had him on a live where he came out and said that he had made everything up. She was at BravoCon. She threw a party for people that were not able to make BravoCon. And it was like a big deal. And she just really interacts with a lot of people. And so I think that I'm having a hard time adding her. Why? It's like, won't let me add her. It won't give me her as an option even. I don't understand. I'm so sorry, guys. Having a hard time finding her on there. I don't understand why it won't let me find her. There we go. That's why. Anyways, okay. I've added you, Marsha. You are the moderator now. Anyways, so this post comes out and Your Mom is watching, and she said basically that Patrick took this post because this was a post that Lisa Rinna posted a long time ago, like over a year ago, and it was something to do with what she filmed with Days of Our Lives, and that she had posted it on her Instagram a long time ago. But Patrick took that photo and he made it into like the threatening statement towards Patrick, and because it had her name in the left-hand corner, it looked legitimately like she had posted it, which she did post the original photo, but she did not add the saying to it, right? And a lot of people were saying like they believed that she didn't, that she didn't post this. And then a lot of people were saying, no, she definitely posted it. I saw it on her Instagram, right? And there was a very big debate on here about people saying they either saw it or they didn't see it. If any of you guys seen it, please let me know and comment that that you saw it and you saw her post it, and maybe it was only up for a couple of seconds, whatever the case may be. Did you see it or did you not see it? Now, I also spoke with your mom's watching account. Her name is Thea. And just to kind of get her perspective, because I know that she speaks with Lisa Rinna. I know she does. And she basically said Lisa Rinna would not give Patrick that sort of publicity. Like, why would she do that? Why would she bring more attention to him? Like, everything he says is messed up. Obviously, because, he said he was going on, the reunion, and that was a lie. And then he said he worked for Kathy, and then he said he worked for Lisa. But the point is that Lisa retweeted this statement about Paris Hilton. Hey, Marsha, thank you so much for moderating. Super appreciate you and getting rid of those bots and any advertisements, those weird messages that people post in there. Anyways, so people are going wild because Lisa Rinna also tweeted about Paris Hilton and Paris's experience in the troubled school, the school for troubled teens. Raven says, I can't wait until the season over and hope Garcelle finds justice for her family. Hey, Freddie, I hope that she finds justice too. Andy Cohen is backtracking. I'm so glad that you mentioned that because people are really letting Andy Cohen have it. They feel like Garcelle was kind of skipped over at the reunion. That whenever they spoke about her book, it turned into a whole debate about the recycling and the phone in the trash and the fact that really, Lisa had sent it to Erica and Erica had sent it and Erica got so much grief behind it, and that it turned into wow, what a great friend, Erica is to Lisa, when we know that's not the case. And people are always like, why is those two why are those two best friends, ride or die, are always backing each other up and taking the fall for one another? What is it? It can't really be a legitimate friendship because relationships aren't even real in Hollywood. People get divorced all the time. I think that it's honestly because Erica gave Lisa money. When we heard about all those cash dealings that transpired right before Tom Girardi, everything came out. Allegedly she had a lot of money. Freddie says Rinna and Erica have the same manager. That is true, but we did hear that Lisa has let go her publicist. Teddy Mellencamp confirmed this on 2 T's in a Pod, that Lisa confirmed she did let go her publicist. She didn't feel like it was a good idea for her to be working with the publicist who represented Paris Hilton. And there were a couple other names that she said, but I was thinking, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to have the same publicist as Paris Hilton when you're on Twitter. Yes, Freddie, publicist and manager, 2 different things. Absolutely. They have the same manager, but a publicist is different, and the publicist worked with Nikki Hilton as well. And like I said, Teddy actually reads the text message that she gets from Lisa Rinna because, she's thirsty and she's using any sort of information that she can get to keep people coming back to the pod, is what they call it. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like I posted a little bit about Lisa, and all of my stories have been taken down. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble. All of them. I posted both sides of the story because I wanted you guys to know, Freddie is a very dependable, we depend on Freddie for a lot of information. He's on the other side of the world, so he's in a different time zone. If he said he saw it, I believe Freddie saw it. But I love Thea, and I believe her, she makes great points too. So I just posted, both perspectives, but it looks like it must have got taken down. So, well, that's okay. Everyone thinks Lisa's really sealing the deal here with Bravo, especially the retweet regarding Paris and the allegations of the R word. So Rinna says she needed a lock on her door when planning Aspen setup. Hey, Freddie, with all the tea, thanks for joining. Vile Shadow doesn't know when to leave. Hi, Freddie, my fellow English friend from Pure Light. Kyle is a mess, I think. I think that she's dealing with so much with Mauricio and like burying all the stuff that comes up about him and keeping an eye on him. That she, plus her family and then the show and then what she has going on the side. I just think that she is a mess probably. I'm not trying to be mean, but if you guys like look at the photos from Brooke's baby shower, I can include them in the community page of the YouTube for you guys. Basically, all of the ladies are just very like proper, and their dresses have sleeves, and it looks like her colors were like light pastels of like pink and cream, and all of the cousins were just very delicate, very beautiful. And then you have like Kyle's daughters and the one is in like a tube top. Her belly's showing. She's got like I don't know, some kind of like army green pants and boots, and I was just like laughing to myself, and the color like wasn't a light pastel. It was like grays and blacks. It was like rough looking compared to the other ladies in their dresses. Freddie says maybe Mauricio was out with Dorit instead of the baby shower, allegedly. And I think to myself, do they think that Kyle's daughters are like the promiscuous ones of the group? Like, is that what, how you always have like that friend, or you always have that family member that's like a little rowdier than everyone else, and, probably has. I'm wondering if Kathy came on the show to get her own back on what Rinna did to Kim. Possibly. I think that Kathy has a lot of power in Hollywood. I think that Rinna was sealing her demise when she went after Kathy Hilton, and I think she just thought, F it, it's my last year. I'm never going to get this contract again. Guys, we've talked about the fact that Harry Hamlin basically came out and said that he didn't want to be on the show. He knows that just like the other ladies, the husbands have an expectation when the wife signs a Bravo contract. Bravo expects the husband to be present at events, vacations, whatever the case may be. They want the husband there as well. And so he knew that coming in, and therefore they made a clause in his contract that let him off the hook for events and all that stuff. And it basically put him off limits to the show. He protected himself in this 5-year contract that they gave Lisa Rinna. This contract's up. No way Bravo execs would sign that again. No way, especially with what they know now. Like 5-7 years ago, people didn't know everything about Harry Hamlin like they do now. Like, we didn't know he lived in Canada and had multiple boyfriends and girlfriends in Canada and didn't even live in the house with Lisa. And, we just didn't know those things. And I don't think Bravo knew those things. And so they were like, yeah, whatever. We don't really care what Harry does anyways, because, Harry Hamlin, like, what could he be doing that would be scandalous? So they sealed his 5-year contract where he's off limits. His filming is minimal. In the article that I went over with you guys in a couple videos back, Lisa Harry is quoted as saying that Lisa will come to Harry and say, Harry Hamlin, they would be so excited. They really want us to do a scene together. Like, they really, really want us to do a scene together, and it would really help me and make me look good with producers. So then Harry would go ahead and do a scene with her. Harry alleges that the first scene they ever shot was Lisa Rinna in a restaurant waiting on Harry to fly in, and he was late, and then he wouldn't even sign the contract that they had prepared for him. This is allegedly how he got the 5-year deal where he was off limits to any sort of scrutiny, scandalous conversation, anything, and that he only films when he wants to. And we know that he only does that on behalf of keeping Lisa in good graces with production, right? She knew she was never getting a contract like this again, especially with what Bravo execs knew Kim was talking about. Okay, guys, go back to Amsterdam. Let's remember Kim. Don't talk about the husbands. We've talked about what Kim knew and what she was alleging. And of course, there's many different things because there's so many scandals around Harry Hamlin. You don't know which one she could possibly be talking about. But we've assumed that it is the situation with a young actress in the 70s well, no, I don't even know if it was the 70s. I shouldn't say that. It was very early in his film career, but that couldn't be right because Lisa was around and they were married. So I think the actress was very young in her career, and he allegedly SA'd this woman on set, and the woman was starting to tell people, and Lisa Rinna allegedly went and threatened her, and she never acted again. She like moved back to her hometown of like Oklahoma, and they never heard from her again. And so this has always been a story that's very known around Hollywood amongst all of the women. Know it. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows what Harry was accused of doing because it's just like an unspoken thing amongst them. But Kim bringing it up on the show and showing how Lisa reacted to it, I think execs, like, they're not going to say, okay, Harry's off limits again for another year, another 2 years. She's not that, Lisa's not that great of, I mean, she's great to the show, and she's been, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills could have never been that without, I think, Lisa, villainizing everyone. But I think that she knew that was never happening again. Bravo execs probably made that clear to her a long time ago because, again, the reaction she had when Kim brought up the husband, we knew there was something there, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious. And so she definitely doesn't want to talk about the husbands. Harry does not want to film. He doesn't want to deal with it. He has said that 1,000 times. Monique Samuels has the same publicist as Erica. Funny how when Monique has issues on Real Housewives of Potomac, I didn't get to finish that. Hey, JoJo. Yeah, so it's a really tangled web of things that's going on. We also found out that Erica Jane had actually met PK prior to meeting Dorit and prior to them coming on the show. Find this very strange that we're just hearing about it now. From Dorito's face at the reunion, you could tell she had not heard of the rumors either because she looked pretty shocked and she like clenched her pearls when Erica said that he was into, porn. Just saying. That's what they said. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Lisa Rinna... Now, first of all, we can validate for sure 1,000% that she did tweet the tweet about Paris... Kathy Hilton basically being not a very good mother and sending her troubled teen off to this school in Utah where she is SA'd there, which I didn't watch the entire documentary, and I didn't think she was R'd, but that's what the retweet said. And so people are appalled that she would retweet that about Kathy, period, let alone on top of the photo with the firearm, okay? So it's like... I mean, Lisa, nobody could even defend you if they wanted to. Why would Erica even mention she knew PK? Exactly. Why would she mention that now? After all these years, she's had an opportunity to say, we met a long time ago, or whatever the case may be. She's bringing it up now. Very strange. And then she, at BravoCon, she goes and says PK and Dorito are going to be getting a divorce. They're the next Bravo couple. And then Dorit got upset about it. She, commented. And then Erica basically was like, why can't you all take a joke? This is crazy. I don't know. But they're saying that some of this is going to be because the alleged racial slur will be brought up in Wednesday's episode, okay? That's why everything's getting so intense. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get in our third part. I think that it'll probably be good. But again, guys, we're really only going to get like a half an hour of Kathy Hilton. And I just feel like, I don't know. It's only 42 minutes. We're going to get 30 minutes of them, going over the Aspen trip. Why would Rinna be so upset over Garcelle mentioning her daughter in her book and be comfortable to speak about Paris? Ooh, JoJo, burn. You're exactly right. They had to do a whole reprint of Garcelle's book because she said a week before it came out, Lisa's attorney reached out to her publicist about the paragraph with Amelia. And so she said they reprinted the books for the release the following week. Okay? Now, allegedly, this is a little wild because this is what makes me think that if TMZ always posts good about Bravo, or not about Bravo, but about the Kardashians, allegedly they've always said that the Kardashians have TMZ in their pocket. TMZ states Erica Jane is making a big accusation against Kathy Hilton and the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion finale. Our sources say production investigated Erica's claims following the Aspen trip, but found it's basically a case of she said, she said. This is exclusively from TMZ. It says Erica Jane accuses Kathy of using gay slur in Aspen, and Kathy denies it. Cover of TMZ. That's a little wild that TMZ did that to Kathy because, you know, the Hiltons are powerful. And that's what makes me think that the Kardashians and the Hiltons aren't really friends anymore, because how could they? Like, TMZ is pro Kardashian everything. Do you guys remember when they had Kanye come to the studio? Okay, here we go. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ during the reunion finale, Erica accuses Kathy of making a homophobic comment back when the cast went to Aspen. So that's where we get the went to Aspen part. But they also, Kathy has others to back her up, and sources say after Kathy's strong denials, several other Real Housewives of Beverly Hills stars spoke up in her defense. Interestingly, we're told Kathy's sister Kyle Richards is sitting quietly next to Kathy during the back and forth with Erica. More evidence of their fractured relationship. So even TMZ is bad mouthing Kathy and bad mouthing Kyle in this article. That's so funny. Angie for Justice. Hello, Housewife Restoring. Wish I knew your first name. I love your content. Oh, Angie, I love you too. You guys, I go by Lindsay. My first name is Jessica, but Lindsay is what I go by. So, but you can call me whatever you guys want. It's fine. Mr. Make It Make Sense always says that. He's always like, what do you want me to call you? Do you want me to call you like HH? Or I'm like, no, it's fine. You can, call me whatever you want. Lindsay is fine. Yeah, so I just think it's really weird that TMZ would run this article against the Hiltons, going against the Hiltons, and then also talking shit about Kyle. Kyle's tears are the fear of being caught. Kyle's tears probably are the fear of being caught. Kathy is coming out and saying that she says this was a setup. And I'm interested to hear why she thinks it was a setup, because she says it was a setup from the beginning, which is a little bit difficult to believe because Kathy didn't start filming right away. Do you guys remember? She was like in contract to come back, and allegedly she wanted more money. One of Kathy's closest friends is Faye Resnick, who is Kathy's best friend, and she was backing Kyle up in the TMZ video. Yes, we know about Miss Faye, the morally corrupt Faye Resnick. If you guys don't know who that is, I can give you a real quick recap. She is now, of course, Kathy's best friend, because if you had to choose between Kathy and Kyle to be your friend, you'd probably choose Kathy because she has more money and she's going to take better care of you. So I feel like Faye is, had to make a decision, and she's taken Kathy at Kathy's side. Faye was around. She was good friends with Nicole Brown Simpson. If you guys remember, she was allegedly killed by her husband, OJ, and Faye and her allegedly partied together, the Coca-Cola, the Valium to come down. Faye was in and out of rehab several times. But a month after Nicole died, allegedly, she had this book deal ready to go. Nicole's family. There was another victim. What was his name? What was his name? I cannot remember who Nicole was with when she got killed. Ronald Goldman, is that what it is? That's what it sounds like in my head. He was killed with Nicole, and so there was two victims' family, and both of them came forward and said, please don't write this book, Faye. Like, we're grieving. She has 2 kids, blase skip, and she still wrote the book, and allegedly it was because she needed the money. And so she also did Playboy or whatever, and she was at the dinner party from Hell Scene when Kyle is read by Camille's friend and told that her husband will never emotionally be satisfied with her. And yeah, I mean, that psychic, I cannot remember her name either off the top of my head. I can see her plain as day. She went and did an interview with behind the velvet rope, and she brought up Kyle and said that Kyle had actually DM'd her not that long ago talking shit, and she was saying like, how funny is it that I'm still taking up space in Kyle Richards' head. 20 years have gone by. Not 20, but like 10. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. I think that we're not going to get that great of a reunion only because I think it's going to go too fast. I mean, we can't, I don't know. I don't know if I like the way production did it. They filmed the reunion way too early. Now we have the housewives battling on social media, but we're not going to get to see that actually ever play out because they had already filmed the reunion. And if Lisa is fired, which we know Kathy already said at the TMZ interview, she's not coming back with the same cast. So we know that if we're not going to see Kathy and Lisa together again ever. Just at this reunion. This is the last time we're going to see them together. I definitely think that Kathy's going to bring up Kim's situation only because I think now I would say Kathy and Kim probably both feel like Kyle didn't support them. And with the Kim situation, Kyle always used the reasoning, the excuse that she had done so much for Kim and she had just been left disappointed over and over and over. Okay. And so that's why she was just done trying to help her and support her and love her. I'm just wondering which of Mauricio's family is stolen from Kyle's collection. Ooh, okay. Let's talk about that a little bit. We know that Kyle had the collection of jewelry that her mother had left her and it was stolen at her house. She accused a psychic who wasn't even a psychic. She accused this woman of having her mother's ring on in this photo that Diane Keaton had posted. And it was not filmed late, Freddie. It was filmed early. They filmed it before, I think. I mean, let me see. I can look it up real quick. But it was definitely filmed early. They didn't see like the last 4 episodes before. Because normally, even though like we still have 4 episodes to go, they'll take those 4 episodes and they'll go in and give them to the ladies and let them watch them. Or at least like the last 2 or up to whatever it is. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense that they would film it early. It doesn't. And it's very disappointing because, again, it cuts down on the tension and the issues between Kathy and Lisa because now there's so much that's transpired on social media since then. We're never going to get to see it. So, I don't know. I just think it's disappointing the way production did Beverly Hills this year. We didn't even see any of a storyline prior to Kathy coming on the scene. If you guys remember, what was the storyline? Andy Cohen definitely getting grief for the way he treated Garcelle. We talked about the phone and the recycling and the whole book in the trash, but he's also getting heat for the way that he treated Garcelle when she spoke about her son and Erica telling him to F off, okay? It was kind of like, I don't know. It didn't seem like he really validated her. Like she had to try to validate herself in that moment because Kyle kind of used the excuse that she didn't see it. So when her and Mo and PK and Dorito were having dinner talking about it, she didn't actually see it transpire. So she laughed and she said, "My bad. I never should have done that." And when I saw it play, she said she was mortified. And so that was what she said. And she said it was her bad. And Garcelle's whole point was, if this was your child, if this would have been your 14-year-old, then everything would have went down completely different than it did. So I think Garcelle has a little bit of a resentment about that. And I agree with her because it's like, if that was Kyle's daughter, I think she would be furious about it. I don't think that she would be giving Erica a pass about it. And then, of course, Dorit's like, I did say something. It was like a stab in my heart when Erica said that. And then she claims that her and Erica went out to dinner afterwards. Does that make any sense? I don't know. It seemed like that was like a late party. Like they closed the party down. It was probably like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Maybe they did go to dinner afterwards. But I just didn't think... that sounded Right, because it was definitely dark outside because we saw Garcelle's son. So I thought the party would have like ran late, but maybe I'm wrong. Karma says Dorit has a heart. I thought she was all plastic. Oh, that's hilarious. I know, I know. Here's a couple different little fun things I wanted to talk to you guys about too, just to fill you in on news and what's been going on. So, Andy Cohen does end up apologizing. I think it's on his own podcast on Apple. And he apologizes for not being more sensitive to Garcelle. He says that they had a talk about it. She really explained things to him and gave him to insight on why, she felt the way that she did after the reunion. And so he really apologized for it. And, you know, Andy Cohen's apologies are a lot like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Their apologies, it's like quick and to the point. And I said, I'm sorry. So, like, let's just move forward. I owned it. Let's go. Also, can we talk about Kim Zolciak? Real Housewives of Atlanta, don't be tardy for the party. Basically losing her mansion. There are reports, documentations, Fulton County, which is in Atlanta. She has a big old mansion out there that her and Croy have been living in with, I don't even know how many kids they have now. I literally don't know how many kids they have. But it's foreclosure. And they took out $300K on the house in December of 2013. So they've had this house for a while. But allegedly that's where they went delinquent. So a lot of the comments are saying like her house payment was probably around $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And so she should be able to come up with the money relatively quickly. And I think the bank has sent two warnings. And there were people that were real estate saying like it's possible they went out of the deal. That's the only way to do it, or it's just very possible they don't have the couple of $1,000. Angie for Justice says, sorry, not interested in Kim Z. I understand. I just wanted to give you guys some Bravo news about her and what's going down, because here's the thing, guys. Do you remember when there was a blind item talking about how there was a Real Housewife, well, an ex-Real Housewife that was selling like boxes, and she was like advertising as like a spiritual advisor. She was like advertising for a spiritual advisor, maybe some sort of box with like candles and probably tarot cards. Who even knows? Something crazy. People had ordered. She was like doing this infomercial type shit. And she basically, no one got the boxes. They paid for it and didn't get their merchandise, whatever that merchandise was. So I definitely 100% think that's Kim Z. A little bit of talk about Real Housewives of Miami. Larsa Pittman, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of Miami. I'm not sure when they're starting. They've already filmed, so I'm wondering when we're going to get that from Peacock. I guess allegedly she told production that she will let them ask her one question about the Kardashians the entire season. You get one question, but Kim wasn't giving the product boxes people bought off her. How does she not have the money for the mortgage? I don't know, Freddie. I think, well, do you guys remember she has a store? Well, she used to. I don't know if she still does, but Kim Z had a whole store. She was selling all of their kids' clothes and shoes, and some of it was brand new and some of it was gently used, but it was all like name brand and just like stuff that looked like had been bought and thrown into like boxes. Like it was somebody that was just a shopaholic or a hoarder that would like go and just buy a bunch of shit because it was on sale or whatever and just throw it in the corner, and then you forget about it and the kids have already outgrown it, and so you make them wear it one time just so that you feel better. That's what I was getting from her. Okay, also, Real Housewives of Atlanta was seen filming, and guess where they were seen filming at? Candace Dillard Bassett's show. We have Candy, Marlo, and Monty all representing and present filming Real Housewives of Atlanta at Candace's show. Well, Marlo was there too. So Marlo and Kenya must be on good enough terms that they can film together. So that's good. Monty is Candy's friend, and she looked interesting. I kind of wanted to know a little bit about her. Monty was the one, she had that older white husband that he didn't look like he knew what was going on. So that will be good. I'm excited to hear what Real Housewives of Atlanta is filming. Kenya did recently do an interview where she said that she would love to have Nene back. Woo, I don't know why she did that. She knows production. Andy Cohen already hates her, and that's why I don't know why she would do that. We also have gotten a clip from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and it's going to show Heather Gay visiting Angie. Okay, do you guys remember Angie from last season? She had the party at her house. There was allegedly a dispute between the caterers. She accused Lisa Barlow of telling the caterers not to cater her party last minute. Now, allegedly, the caterers didn't want to cater it because it was an LGBTQ party because their son, I think, may be part of the community, and they were raising money, I think, for AIDS. And so they allegedly didn't want to cater it, but also said that it was Lisa who told them not to cater it. So not sure about that. We see Heather go there, and Heather's about to spill everything about what happened with Whitney on vacation, because she knows that Whitney and Angie don't have a great relationship. It seemed like they really weren't friends. Lisa told Angie that Whitney was like white trash or something. And then they ended up becoming friends and finding out they were distant cousins. They seemed like friends. Like, I think that Heather and Whitney and them went on a trip for Angie's 40th birthday, like in between filming. Anyways, now it seems that Angie and Whitney are not really friends anymore, and Heather has graciously stepped in to be Heather's friend to film with for the show. These rumors about Lisa Barlow, I have to ask you guys something though. Is Heather lying? Did Heather hear the rumor, that exact rumor about Lisa, doing that for tickets to, I don't even remember what that was, courtside tickets to whatever. Did Heather say she heard that and she just didn't want to say it because her and Lisa were like starting over and like they were starting to build a friendship and she didn't want to upset Lisa? Reality says, I would rather see Angie or Dana become housewives as they have more money and I think will be more interesting than Angie H. I think it's confusing because they have the two Angies. I agree with you, Freddie. I hate when production does that. It makes it super confusing on who's what and what's going on. Angie H is allegedly very dramatic, I guess. Angie H made up the rumor about the jazz tickets. Okay. She for sure made it up. They need women with real money, Karma says. I just think they probably have a hard time in Salt Lake City because it is, a Mormon community. I don't know, though. I wanted to know, though, if Heather heard the rumor and just lied because she didn't want... Because I feel like I heard Heather in her confessional say that she had heard it, but she didn't understand why Whitney was barging in and, announcing it when they were on this trip, and that she was trying to build this friendship with Lisa, because it does still seem like Heather is really... She doesn't say it outward, but inwardly, Heather was told about it. I heard. Okay. Because it seemed like in Heather's confessional, like that she had heard about it and she just didn't want to confirm it and upset everything. And then she was pissed that Whitney had barged in and put it on the spot. And also, I think that maybe Heather didn't know that Lisa and Whitney's friendship was growing. Is Jen Shaw gone from Bravo now, or is that just drama for reviews? I think that Jen Shaw is probably not going to have anything to do with Bravo before she, gets sentenced. She might have been paid to go to BravoCon. She might not have been. I think that is it different to be convicted? Is it... There's so many different dynamics to that situation because honestly, apparently a mutual friend of Lisa's and Angie's who aren't on the show were told about. Meredith didn't know about the jazz tickets rumor though, which is weird, Freddie, because if Meredith didn't know about the jazz tickets, but she had heard about other sexual exploitation that had to do with Lisa, that makes me feel like that's corroborating each other and they don't even realize it. Like maybe Angie completely did make it up, but if she did it would seem strange that she's coming out with this story and then also Meredith has her own story corroborating, unless if they planned it ahead of time, which is very possible they could have. I want to know where Mary Crosby is going to come into this, because if you guys don't remember, people got photos of Jen and Heather at Mary Crosby's church, filming with her uncle, who was also on Sherelle's World. It's funny how Meredith and Heather's 5-year friendship is finally showing. I miss Mary. Please click the like button. It really helps my channel. Thank you guys so much. I don't know. Maybe they plotted it prior to the season to try to get a storyline going. I don't know. I don't think Whitney would be able to hold something like that in. Whitney and Lisa, I think, are going to develop a friendship, but I think it's because Lisa has no other allies, and because Whitney is such like a sweet-hearted person on the inside. Like, she tries to be tough on the outside, but I think that Whitney wears her heart on her sleeve, and she's a pretty sincere person, I think. And Lisa needs that, and she needs anyone, and she needs someone that she can trust. And I think that Whitney is going to be like that perfect, like, they're very much different, Lisa and Whitney. So it's going to be a very strange dynamic to see them kind of evolve to be friends, but that's what we're seeing, guys. Whitney, it still rings in my ear, though, that Lisa basically tried to make Whitney seem trashy. Like, she, like, don't hang out with her. She's trashy. Like, look at how she dresses. Look at the tattoos she's showing. Can you believe how short her skirt is? Why would she wear high heels with that and let that big tattoo show? Oh, she's smoking cigarettes and she's drinking. Like, in my head, I just feel like Lisa did think that Whitney was trashy, and she did think that she was, like, too good to hang out with Whitney, and that Whitney shouldn't be maybe necessarily a housewife, because Whitney is very free-spirited. And I just don't think that that's typically Lisa's cup of tea, but maybe it will be good for her. Lisa and Meredith, the shining twins. Please, Meredith is moving away and getting... Meredith is, though, I don't know what Meredith will do after this whole Lisa storyline, though, because I don't know. I like Meredith, but she is acting a little bit, high and mighty about this whole situation. And I don't know. Do you guys remember the last scene where Lisa, like, holds up her hand, or she didn't hold up her hand, but she basically said something about committing suicide, or slicing her own wrist or something. And Meredith was like, clutching her pearls, like, oh my gosh, what the F? I just had a family member try to do that. And so it's like, Lisa, it's just bad taste. Don't say stuff like that. Just don't do that, Lisa. You shouldn't say things like that. So I don't know what's going to happen between them. I don't think they're going to reconcile. I think that Lisa has sisters that they probably fight horribly like that, so it's nothing for them. I think that John probably really did sleep with Lisa's sister first. Meredith's son's Brooks will be another tracksuit. I think that, like, Lisa and her sisters, like, share things, and they're totally fine with it. I can just see it. Have you guys ever seen a picture of Lisa's one sister? She looks identical to Lisa. It's so crazy. And then I think lastly, I just wanted to mention Giselle Bryant on Watch What Happens Live. She was on with Miss Dr. Simone from Married to Medicine, and Andy was asking her a lot about, like, this whole Chris Bassett situation. I don't know if you guys are watching Real Housewives of Potomac. Comment if you are going to be watching it. I don't know what's going to happen there. It just seems really sketchy that Giselle is saying that he made her uncomfortable, but none of it. He asked if he could speak with her, and she suggested the room. She still went into the room where there was no one in the room. And then she said that she sent him and asked him to go check to see if they were ready for her. And he did that. So the only thing that he did making her uncomfortable was talking about his wife to her, because she's insinuating that they're alone together and he's bitching about his wife because he wants to get with her. Oh, that was good. Why would Simone tell Gizzy, Cecil really likes you, Giselle. He thinks you're pretty, and I wouldn't leave him alone in a hotel room with you either. I did hear Simone. She looked pretty. I liked her shirt, but she's just not... She isn't good but solo. She's a good side wing. She's a great wingman. You know what I'm saying? Wing woman, wingman, whatever. That's what Simone is. She's great to like. She's kind of like Jackie's wingman, like the +2. I just don't think she's super great by herself. I agree with Candace. If she goes off crazy, I'm avoiding. Simone is boring in Married to Medicine. Yes, I know, but I still think she's crucial because her and Cecil, they really, I think, keep their relationships like with all of them going, and they really have true friendships amongst them because they've been on this show forever. And even Andy Cohen said that he was really proud of Simone and the whole Married to Medicine because he felt like they got a lot of love at BravoCon this year, and a couple of years ago they didn't really get that. They didn't have that attention. They were kind of always like second best to Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I agree with that because I didn't watch Married to Medicine for years and years. And then when I watched it, I was hooked, and I like can't help it. I don't like watch it religiously, I guess. This season I have been just because of the whole robbery thing. But normally, Married to Medicine's like one of those things. It could be halfway through the season and you can go through and catch up, right? So that's just my opinion. I think her and Miss Jackie are definitely crucial to Married to Medicine. Quad, Simone seemed to be coming at Quad about the house, about the money. If you guys want to see their houses, go to Make It Make Sense. He did a really great breakdown of all of the mansions that the people own in the Real Housewives or Married to Medicine. I'm sorry, like Quad and the other ladies. He has like the houses of their mansions, the inside, what they paid, the square footage. He does a whole entire breakdown. Quad's house didn't look as nice as it did when he showed it. Do you think the Green Eyed Bandits are splitting? Ooh, I keep the whole Married to Medicine cast apart from Simone and Contessa. Did you see Contessa's husband singing? Please tell me that somebody saw Contessa's husband singing. Woo! I do think the Green-Eyed Bandits are splitting, and I think they have to. If Robin wants to stay on the show and Giselle wants to keep Robin on the show, they got to have some conflict and some turmoil between the two of them, because if not, it just really leaves them in this like dilemma where Robin doesn't have anything of her own going on except for Juan, and everyone is tired of hearing about her and Juan. Please make Dr. Scott stop. The rapping and singing is a no-go for me. Me too, Marsha. And I met him, I don't want to say I had a drink with him, but him and there was a stylist there, Marty, who was super cool. He was so nice. He was styling them for BravoCon, I think, and also maybe for parts of the reunion, because he asked me about a slick pony, and then I noticed that Contessa was wearing a slick pony at the reunion ponytail. And he was super nice, and he was super down to earth because he's a doctor, which is kind of the opposite, because normally doctors can be kind of snobby because they're a doctor and they're the smartest person in the room type. They're sort of like attorneys. When they speak, nobody else should speak. But he was very nice and very down to earth, and yeah, I just thought that he was nice. Will Robin and Juan ever get married? I don't know if they'll ever get married. I don't know if they really want to marry each other. Jojo says, I don't watch Married to Medicine anymore. I like some of the ladies, but not enough to watch it. I understand. I think that Juan and Robin will probably eventually get married, but sometimes I wonder if they wonder, like, are they more brother and sister? Like, I feel like maybe that's sort of the relationship they have because of the fact that Juan doesn't have any of his own family anymore, and like her parents have like kind of taken him in as their son. I think he lost his parents when he was like 19 or something like that. So I think it's a lot of the same situation as Lisa in Real Housewives of Miami. Lisa will tell you she doesn't have any family. I think she has a dad that I think he was in recovery for maybe drugs and alcohol, and she doesn't see him a whole lot. And she doesn't have anyone else. And so she's married to Lenny, and she doesn't want to let Lenny go because Lenny is her whole family. Juan is yearning for Michael Darby, allegedly. That's what Freddie said. Oh, Lord. He definitely looked over the film crew. He definitely looked like he did not want to film. He did not want to be bothered. I don't know if they rehearsed that, because you could tell that like Robin was kind of smiling in a way. Like, I don't know if she was laughing because she was uncomfortable or if she was laughing because like it seemed ridiculous for them to do this. Like they're not actors, so I think they get uncomfortable when they have to do retakes of scenes and like have surprised expressions and such. And so maybe I kind of felt like that's what was going on between the two of them. Like they had already talked about this, but because they needed to film and they needed content, they discussed prior to filming that this is the kind of conversation that they were going to have. So that was my take on it. Giselle just does not have a lot going on except for this whole Chris Bassett situation, and it just isn't sticky. Nobody is really thinking this story sticks, and like Chris Bassett is not everyone's favorite person. Trust me, people, do not have a high. He's a restaurant manager, and he goes out afterwards, and production will tell them what they want them to talk about. Thank you, Freddie. I don't know what's going to happen with Real Housewives of Potomac, but it's not looking good I really think they got to step it up a little bit, though, because if they only have this storyline with Chris Bassett, it's not going to stick. And it also makes it messy because now you guys, Michael Darby, I think, was actually really a, like, possible someone that if he was drinking, he might, I don't want to use the word fondle, but maybe would put his hand places that he shouldn't, okay? And then he did allegedly to this cameraman, and there was this whole thing about it. So it's like, if you have a situation where you have someone who actually does do that sort of thing, if they've had a lot to drink, and then you have someone like Chris who doesn't ever have a history of this before, not with anyone, been on the show a couple of years now, we've never heard anything like this before, and now we do. Did a producer put Giselle up to the Chris stuff? She's the Rinna of Potomac. I think she's more of the Kyle of Potomac because I don't think she wants to be the villain by any means. I definitely think she stirs the pot, but I think that she's a Kyle. I think she kisses productions butts. And if you guys listen, she was still, was it her or Wendy that went? It was Wendy. When Wendy left the event, she was mic'd up and there was production like walking down the hallway, and she was like, hey, and production was like, how did it go? And Wendy was like, oh, we were talking to Mia, but obviously she's lying. But I'm like mic'd up. Can we get unmiked? So Wendy gets unmiked and then talks about it with producers. Giselle doesn't have a storyline. Sons throw people under the bus to have one. Completely agree with you. Giselle doesn't have a lot going on right now, guys. She's already used the Jamal story. If you guys remember, everyone kind of forgave Giselle and gave her a pass when it came out at the reunion that she basically used Giselle for a storyline. So I feel like, hey, Addison, he checked out a long time ago. He's also not going to like the convos about this credit when he sees it. I do. I think that, I think Robin and her husband, or not her husband, her boyfriend Juan, they love their kids very much. I think they want to give their kids a family dynamic of a husband and a wife. And I think that they're willing to sacrifice maybe their own happiness or whatever you want to call it to be a family, because I really think you could probably get along with just about anybody if they're reasonable, Is soulmates like such a thing? Probably not. There's a lot of different people in the world you could probably have a nice life with. So, Griselle is a villain. She made shirts with Karen's husband's face on it and a number nominating him for prison. What? Now, I remember the t-shirts when she put hashtag like free cousin whoever, because like Karen's family had issues with taxes. And she put it on a t-shirt. Remember, there was like a press conference that Karen had called and she put it on the t-shirt. So yeah, Giselle definitely oversteps, but she thinks she's funny. Giselle has always been a pot stirrer, but it's hilarious. Exactly. I don't get Wendy. I don't like the phonies. I don't know about Wendy either. Like, why are you using Peter Thomas as your storyline? Everyone, I mean, Kenya said when he was at the wedding, what wedding were they at in Real Housewives of Atlanta? Whatever event it was, he was there. And he, like, came up, hugged her, said hi, had sunglasses on. It was nighttime, and, like, scurried off. And she was like, Kenya said about him, he was high as a mother effer. So I don't know what kind of recreational things Peter Thomas does on the side. We know how he treated Cynthia. We know that she had to sue him in civil court for like $60,000 after she married Mike Hill because Peter didn't pay her this money that he allegedly owed her. And that was just the money that she had proof that he owed of her. We know they were on like a serious budget when they got married. She put up the money for the original bar one and I think ended up getting closed down anyways. So it does not make sense that Wendy is this professional woman with this amazing education. Her husband is a freaking attorney and you guys are going to turn around and give Peter Thomas, how much was it? $120,000 for 20% of a restaurant that you're not going to even see a tiny, I don't even think you would see a turnover in 18 months. I just don't think that you would. And then you got Peter Thomas with 3 different restaurants. And who's to say he's going to put all of his attention into that third restaurant or not a different bar one? Like maybe he's going to get a girlfriend in Miami and so he's just going to be at bar one in Miami and the other ones might be falling apart because he's not there. Peter's business track record is awful. His bar in Charlotte had to close because of $230K in unpaid taxes. Thank you, Freddie, for that number. Guys, that's a lot of money. Are you going to take out a loan for $120,000 and give it to Peter effing Thomas? She might as well give me $120,000. I'll go open her up a restaurant. Damn. And I'll give her 50% for $120K. Her personality just doesn't mesh. I feel bad. I felt bad when Robin was so rude to her and like asked everyone else's kids to the event except for Wendy's. I felt like that was super, super rude. I did not like that at all. I feel bad for Wendy because I don't think she has a lot of girlfriends because she is so alpha. And, she goes into a field and she's doing commentary and that is like not easy work. She's up against talking about some of the a lot of powerful people and she has to be, I don't want to use the word masculine, but like it's still a little bit of a man's world, especially in fields where there's not a lot of women and you don't see a lot of women commentators. So it's like she has to go to work and be just as good, if not better, than every man that does that job, to shine and to show that she can do it too. And so I think that it's hard to turn that on and off. So when she has to turn on that masculine, like be better than everyone else, be quicker, be funnier, be wittier, know better statistics, whatever the case may be, I think it's hard to like go turn that off then around your friends. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to turn off the defense, the comebacks, whatever the case may be around your friends and family. And her husband is probably just very much used to the way that Wendy is. But for other people, I think that's a lot for them and they just don't know how to take her and perceive her. And so unfortunately it makes it difficult for her. That's just my personal opinion. Wendy has the Nigerians with her, African allies, Black Honeybee says. Yes, I think that I like Wendy and I like her. I would wish that maybe we would see a little bit more of her husband, but he works. I like Wendy, but I've only seen 1 season of her, says JoJo. Yeah. I mean, she's losing her hair because she's stressing herself out. LOL. Exactly. Like, it's a lot of stress to have a job like that. Like, that's a competitive avenue, okay? And then on top of it being a professor and on top of it having 3 kids and then on top of that filming the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I don't know how she has any time. Oh, and her business. What did somebody say? They said one wick Wendy in the comments. Oh, like Wendy, life is not that serious. I know. She'll get it one day, hopefully before her kids get too old. Do you guys think that they're going to bring Crystal back to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Marcia says, well, having kids will do it to us Black women. It's a great topic that's never discussed, but not worth these women, Wendy. I love that she brought up the topic, actually, because I have people that I know that suffer from that, and I know that it's very difficult to have hair loss. It's very difficult to cover it up, and it's very difficult to treat it because a lot of times they don't know what's causing it. You have to go to like a dermatologist, which isn't always typically covered under like a standard insurance plan. And wigs are hella expensive. Extensions are hella expensive. Wigs are uncomfortable. You have to wear wig hats. Like none of that stuff is fun. And if you're already losing your hair and you're like having to use a lot of products, and it's hard. I lost some hair over here like really really bad, and it never did come back thicker than it was before it got, before it was gone. So I'm glad that she's talking about it too. I love that she went to the doctor, and I think it happens a lot with women, and we just don't know it because we cover it up. Also, seeing pictures of Teresa Giudice with dogs. Do you guys remember that Teresa never wanted like dogs in the house? I think she let the girls get that little tiny white dog, but she never wanted any dogs in the house. And when Teresa, I think Louis had posted a photo of her in bed, and there was like a dog at the end of the bed. And even Andy Cohen was like, I can't even believe what I'm seeing right now. Teresa Giudice in bed with dogs. And so Louis posted a photo of her on the couch, and there's like 3 big dogs around her. And, if anyone knows, they know that she's not super excited about dogs. So what else? A lot going on in New Jersey, but we do not have time for all of that in this video. I did find a great video of Giselle Bryant. It was from Real Year Books of Bravo, and they have Giselle's picture, and it's pretty funny. I'm going to post it for you guys in the community page. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Any questions? Giselle did look good on Watch What Happens Live. I was proud of her. I don't know if she's paying for a stylist. She needs to just replace her whole closet. Stop trying to do trends. Stop trying to be in style and just pick classic pieces. That's it. Karma says, I wish they would bring Dallas back. I saw a video of the mother. What was her name? Of Deandra's mom. Mama D. She wears wigs, and she has one of her wigs in like one of the Bravo like places or whatever, and they went there, her and Deandra, and she took the wig out and started combing it because she didn't feel like it was styled correctly, and everyone was like dying laughing because she just whipped a comb out of her purse and started styling this wig that was on display at Bravo. I just thought that was funny. So, and let's see here. I think that's about it. Any questions before we jump off? Okay. It looks like Dorito is commenting on the whole Kanye is right about the Jews thing. We don't hear her comment much. And then also Lisa Rinna, there was a lot of talk about her, and these accounts that she was reposting were actually bot accounts that were going back to her, like the recover. People were trying to find out about these accounts that Lisa was resharing. And they were like looking up, and they were able to find like the recovery email address was Lisa Rinna's. Now, some people say it wasn't Lisa Rinna's. They say it was Lisa Rinna's, like someone on her team, a publicist, I don't know, somebody like that, and tried to link all these accounts to her and say they were actually her, but she's saying that it's not her. So I don't know what's happening. Oh, we do have a hot mic from Wendy. Yeah, I told you guys. They're posting this hot mic moment. I told you guys about this. Bravo bitches are posting the hot mic moment where Dr. Wendy calls Mia a liar, which is so funny because she says at the table with Robin when they go back and forth that she didn't call Mia a liar. She said, I didn't call Mia a liar. Well, you mean that you didn't call Mia a liar to her face. You figured you didn't want to call her a liar and it be true, and then you're running around calling cancer patients liars, right? So just wondering. Someone said Team Kanye. Team Kanye. Yes, I agree with you guys. But they're canceling him all over the place, I think. Adidas dropped him. I don't even know if you can stream his music right now. I think they took it. Yeah, I think so. Anyways, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn those notifications on. Yesterday, I did a video talking about Candace and Porsche. They did a live a couple of days ago for a movie, and it was so funny because Porsche was not invited to BravoCon. Porsche was on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip.
Still didn't get invited to BravoCon. Allegedly was going to be coming back onto the Real Housewives of Atlanta because she is getting married to Simon Gobadia and she's in LA with her party planner and they're having two weddings and Blase Skip. And it's very wild that she would not make a place on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They really must have felt like there wasn't a fan base with her to say, we don't even want to see, like, weddings are usually, how many people do we know that did vow renewals and weddings to keep their spot on the show? I mean, all the OGs have done it once or twice, right? And so for Porsche to come in and be like, I'm throwing a huge wedding with this, millionaire, and there's all this drama because I basically took him from this other housewife that was on the show, and I don't know. Did Porsche find the railroad? Oh my gosh, Karma. Oh my gosh, Karma. That scene lives rent free in my head. When she was like, where does the train come out, though? I'm a minority and I've been wearing a WLM shirt for 2 years now. So yeah, I'm surprised that Bravo would not put her on the show. I'm shocked because, they kind of could. I feel like last year was supposed to be like a make or break season for them. The ladies had to pay for their own production photos. I don't know. They were coming back from the season with the stripper gate. Kimsey should have been invited to perform tardy for the party with Candace and Melissa. Mia, that would have been hilarious. I would have loved to have seen that. I posted on my IG a photo of Melissa. She's like kind of dropping it low and Vicky is like sitting on the corner, and the face that Vicky is making is priceless. Who's driving the train? It's insensitive to say all lives matter. Of course, all lives matter. People say Black lives matter because they are not treated like they matter. To all lives matter. We support all lives matter. Yeah, so I think that would have been really funny to see her perform tardy at the party. Vicky making the face at Melissa is priceless. Go check it out on my Instagram if you want to laugh because it is funny. Her face says it all. And then someone else was like, Melissa, and you weren't a stripper now. I mean, I'm not being mean. She said she worked there or whatever for like a couple weeks or a couple months. Carlos King came out and set the record straight about Teresa and all the rumors about if she knew that her brother and Melissa would be coming on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Carlos King came out and said basically that she knew like a week before. I heard a day before, but everyone else said, well, not everyone, but Carlos, who was a producer at the time, said that she found out a week ahead of time. So people are going hard on the Gorgas, seeing a lot of tweets, a lot of clips, a lot of comments, a lot of clips of No. Have you guys seen these going around on Twitter? They're like clips from, I don't know what season. I want to say after Teresa went to jail. I think it was while Joe Giudice was serving his prison sentence. And like Joe and Melissa were coming over to the house more, to Teresa's house, because they had, Teresa had just went to prison, so they still had their priorities straight and they had a decent relationship. And so No was living with Teresa at the time. And when Melissa and Joe would come over to the house, it seems like there were a lot of scenes where No would come up and say, oh, call me. I haven't spoken to you in 2 weeks. And, Joe kind of laughs and his dad's like, no, like, why don't you call me? And Joe, I think, actually responds with like, F you, like jokingly, but not jokingly. And Teresa's like, who would respond to their elderly dad like that? But he's coming at Melissa too. And he's like, Melissa, like, why haven't I seen you? Why don't you call? Why don't you stop over? I haven't seen you for 2 weeks. And she's like, oh, no, we saw you. We just saw you. Didn't we just see you? And he was like, 2 weeks ago, you saw me. And so there were several clips like that floating around Twitter today. And they were not all from the same season either. So probably going to have to talk about New Jersey again soon. I surely didn't mean any disrespect by it. At Marsha. Yeah. Everyone is super nice in the comments. All of you guys are amazing, and it's just important we all have a seat at the table and we can have our opinions as long as we speak to each other respectful. Like, we can't all like the same people, right? We can't all like the same housewives or the same franchises, or it would be boring. Joe's face was embarrassed when his dad said that. I think so too, Addison. Is that why he said F you instead of like hugging him and saying like, I'll pick you up for lunch on Mondays from now on? Why didn't Joe Gorga just like go over there like one day a week? Like, why didn't he just go every Sunday and take his dad for like, I don't know, someplace to eat or what? You know what I mean? I feel like it's because of Melissa a little bit. I feel like Melissa was with Joe all the time and they admit to each other they were super jealous of one another. And when they got married, they didn't do anything apart because they didn't trust each other. And they were both crazy jealous. And so I wonder sometimes, like, did that keep him from his dad? Possibly. Possibly not, but possibly. I think, oh, I don't know, guys. This was the one scene I was talking about whenever Melissa lied about going to visit the hospital. No, in the hospital. When they were talking about it, she couldn't remember when she had went and had to ask Teresa what day he went into the hospital, because she said that she went and seen him and took the kids to see him after he went into the hospital. And so Teresa's like, no, you didn't. It had been 4 or 5 days before you came. And Melissa's like, no, that's not true. That's not true. And so she ends up having to ask Teresa, like, what day did he go into the hospital? I'm telling you guys, these clips are popping up all over Twitter. It's insane. And I think that would have been around I'm not sure what season 4. Kim D's in it, so maybe season 3. Something to leave it with you guys. I always tell you guys, start the seasons from the beginning. It's so worth it before the season starts. Like, it really helps with the dynamic. There's also a cringe confessional thread, season 3, episode 1, with Joe Gorga talking to Kathy Walkeely, and she says production told them not to say anything. Production told them, don't tell Teresa you're interviewing. Production told them, don't tell the Judices that you're interviewing on the show. So Kathy says, we followed the advice of the producers because we had never done this before. She says it. He says, I live near the Gorga Shore House, and Joe is so cool and will stop and take photos, but Melissa won't acknowledge anyone. I love that, Nikki. I've actually heard that, and that's why I do feel bad for Joe Gorga. I do feel bad for him because I don't think he maneuvered everything correctly like he should have on the show because he was young, dumb, whatever. But I do think that Joe is probably very friendly, and you're not the first person to say how snobby Melissa is, because there also was the guy on Teddy's podcast, and I told you guys about him. His name is Justin, and he said that he ran into Melissa and tried to say hi to her, and she basically acted like J-Lo in the elevator. Too good, too cool for school to talk to him. All right, guys, I gotta wrap this video up. I am so sorry. But anyways, he said she was too cool to talk to him, and so therefore didn't speak to him. And so once the 2 T's in a podcast came out, and they were interviewing Jennifer and Justin. It was actually Jennifer Aiden's interview, so you know Melissa must have been listening to her interview to hear Justin say how snobby she was to him. And then he turned around and he went on Melissa's podcast because she apologized to him and said she was so sorry. She doesn't even know if she heard him say her name. She would never act like that, but she is not the first person to say how snobby Melissa is. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this up. I hope that you enjoyed this live today. Let's thank Marsha for keeping everyone liking this video and keeping the comments flowing. I appreciate you guys. We can all get along. Media and politics creates bullshit to pit us against each other. I'm all for love and togetherness. Thank you, Sojo. Thank you, Jojo. Same here, guys. We all have an opinion. All we have to do is just, you guys do a great job. I'm proud of all of my viewers and comments. You guys are all really great. Melissa probably thought Justin was a fan, and that's why she was rude. I think so too. She thought he was a fan, but you still can't be going around being rude to people. She was rude to Kelly Dodd too. If you guys remember, Kelly Dodd said Melissa was a huge snob. So we've heard it from the other ladies as well. Anyway, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn those notifications on, and we will talk soon. Bye, guys.